What's going on, folks? Who's ready for another Call of Duty Ghost custom class setup? Today's loadout is named Stealth Master. This is for all you ninjas who like to creep around in the shadows and strike people down while remaining unnoticed. In Call of Duty Ghost, with the perk selections kind of taking away points from the secondary and the equipment, in usual classes we'd usually exclude these items to spend those points on perks. But for this loadout I thought I'd actually make use of some equipment and a secondary weapon. While perks often do grant you more benefits, it is nice to sometimes make use of those equipment choices. So this whole setup is kind of based on this stealth theme, and it's kind of a mix of a fun and competitive class. If I was going for a full-on competitive setup as per some of my recent loadouts, I'd clear out that equipment and secondary selection and instead put those points towards more perks. But let's get straight on with this setup and actually show you what this loadout consists of. So there's a couple of weapons with built-in suppressors in Call of Duty Ghosts that you might want to consider for a stealth build. There's the K7 and the Honey Badger, not to mention one of the sniper rifles. But considering the K7's 7-hit kill at long range, I'll take the Honey Badger any day. So that's the main weapon we're going to use for our Stealth Master loadout. It makes sense to choose a weapon with a suppressor for a stealth loadout, so we can then make two more attachment selections. So we'll go with both the grip and the extended mags. The grip's just going to help tame that Honey Badger's recoil slightly to keep it on target. Then because we're not going to use the scavenger perk or the sleight of hand perk, we'll go with the extended mags to give us more ammunition, as well as to give us more rounds to fire out before having to perform a reload. I've already mentioned that we're going to make use of a secondary weapon and a piece of equipment, so that secondary is going to be a pistol of some kind. One of the main considerations you want to make when using a suppressor is to choose a weapon that's got decent range to begin with, seeing as the suppressor does reduce the weapon's range, meaning you're going to need more shots to kill. Out of all the handguns, the P226 is the weapon with the highest range, so it's the perfect candidate for a suppressor attachment. We are using the extended mags on the Honey Badger, which means we're not likely to run out of ammunition anytime soon. Plus it kind of helps eliminate those awkward moments when you run a magazine dry. But if you're left in that situation, at least you've got your sidearm to rely on, so you can either quickly switch it out to finish off a bad guy, or fall back on this weapon if you do go on some extremely long kill streak and end up running completely out of ammo. For the equipment selections, there's the perfect option of the throwing knife. This is the classic stealth takedown tool from Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and now Call of Duty Ghosts. It was replaced by the Tomahawk in Black Ops and Black Ops 2, but I've always preferred the throwing knife with it having a slightly more intuitive arc when you throw it. But even though we're using suppressed weapons which won't show up on the radar, enemies with a headset might still hear your gunfire sounds, but stabbing an enemy in the face or throwing your knife and sticking it in the side of his noggin is the best way to take someone down without alerting their teammates. So the perk selection is where we're really going to build upon this stealth theme, and thankfully now the perks are all nicely categorised in Call of Duty Ghosts, so we'll make use of every perk we can from the stealth section. The most important ones are off the grid to keep us off the enemy's radar. You're not going to be much of a stealth master if the whole enemy team knows of your exact location. And likewise, the dead silence perk is another crucial option so that anyone with or even without headsets can't hear you coming. The whole point of a stealth class is to leave your teammates behind and go on more of a lone wolf gameplay to take people down like a ninja, so dead silence is going to come in handy to allow us to get up close and personal. Incog's another pretty important perk to keep us off those thermal scopes and tracker sights. The thermal scope does seem to be quite popular with snipers, and the tracker sight is always a popular optic on assault rifles. So by equipping the Incog perk, all you're going to be is some kind of ghostly figure through their sight. And because we've made use of those points on a secondary weapon and a lethal equipment choice, we've only got one perk slot left to make use of, so we'll go with the takedown option, which is going to help keep us alive while behind enemy lines. Not showing that little skull icon above dead enemy bodies is going to help avoid having you being hunted out by anyone who notices that something fishy is going on. So we've made use of all the stealth options we could possibly want, so all that's left is to make some Killstreak selections. This is the Stealth Master class, so we're going to go with the Specialist Strike package. And while there aren't any more stealth perks to make use of, we're instead going to use some perks to help detect the enemy players. So first up we'll go with the wiretap perk to use the enemy's satcoms against them. We haven't got the ability to run our own satcoms with us not using the assault or support strike package, so the wiretap perk's the best way to get heads up on the whereabouts of the enemy. When sneaking around behind enemy lines, you want to stay frosty to avoid being detected, so we'll go with the Amplify perk to give us more awareness so we can hear enemy players approaching, even those who are using the Dead Silence perk. And there's one more perk that's really going to help us out named Ping. When we're busy assassinating people, it's going to be handy to get a heads up on any nearby bad guys who could potentially be our next target. So this is where the Ping perk comes in. It gives off a little sonar blip which highlights any other enemy players in close proximity. Again, because we're not running any SATCOMs of our own, this is a great way to hunt out the bad guys. But this is all well and good making use of all these cool perks, but we haven't made any of the important selections of items such as Quick Draw, Sleight of Hand or Focus. So this is where we can make use of all those crucial perks in the main specialist bonus. We're obviously not going to be able to make use of these unless we go on a nice kill streak, but at least we've got the advantages of stealth on our side to engage those gunfights on our own terms and hopefully not run into any of those head-to-head gunfights. Rather than sprint straight through the middle of the map straight into action, instead with this setup you're going to want to flank around the sides and stay hidden, and then take out people from the side and from behind, because we're going to be at a real disadvantage in those head-to-head gunfights without those benefits of faster aiming speeds and recovery. So this class setup is definitely lots of fun, so give it a try in Call of Duty Ghosts. If you do get some good games with this loadout, or if you just enjoyed my video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up down below just to help spread the word and share the video with your friends. If you want to see more of these Call of Duty Ghosts loadouts, then don't forget to check out the link to the full playlist down in the description where you'll find all the episodes so far. If you're new to my videos, you can always hit that subscribe button to stick around for all my upcoming videos. Or you can always follow me on Twitter, Facebook or Google Plus to get a heads up when new content is posted. But as always, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.